Hey everyone, it's Chris Huntley with Credit Knox, and in this video, I'm going to tell you the exact 5 steps that you can take with a friend or family member to get them to add you as an authorized user on their credit card. We just had a recent user on our site comment back to us that she was new to credit, so essentially had no credit, and just by getting added to her mother's credit card, who had a long established credit history and good payment history, she was able to go from essentially zero credit to a 710 credit score. By the end of the video, I'm also going to bring in my mom, Susan, who was just here a little while ago, and I went through the exact 5 steps with her. So you'll see how it works, and I got her to say yes. Sound good? Let's hit it. Okay, so let's get right into it. Now, if you're new to credit or if you have bad credit, you've probably done a little bit of research and come across this strategy called the authorized user strategy or the piggyback strategy. And essentially what it is you get added to a friend or family member's credit card as a user for their credit card. Now, what happens is you don't necessarily use their credit card, but as far as the credit bureaus are concerned, you're attached to that credit payment history, and now that credit account will report to the credit bureaus, so that you now inherit the credit paying history of your friend or family member. So if you're new to credit, it establishes a credit age and history. The problem with a lot of the videos that teach you how to do this is they don't show you step by step how do you actually get a friend or family member to add you. Like, this seems complicated, right? It seems kind of like you're, as we call it, you're asking to borrow a kidney from them. The truth is that there's no risk to them, and that it doesn't cost them a penny. You want to start off by asking them, hey, if you could help me financially and there was absolutely no risk to you and it didn't cost you a dime, is that something that you'd be willing to do? Okay, if they're a friend or family member, they should say yes. Okay, so step 2 is you want to give them an example of success, of someone who has done this recently. So like at the beginning of this video, I mentioned a gal who had done this strategy, one of our users. So you could give her example as your example, or maybe you search around online and you find another example and you say, look mom, or look dad, look friend, this is what this can do for somebody. Okay, so step 3 is you want to tell them about, the reason why you are asking them this in the first place. Like, what's the problem, right? So if nothing is at stake, then they're not going to know why they need to help you. So you have to tell them not just that I have a low credit score or that I have no credit, but tell them what that is causing you, and by way of pain. I'm not able, because of this low credit score, I'm not able to now get this car loan that I need, or I'm able to get this car loan, but I'm probably paying $150 per month more than I need to pay, and it's just strapping me. It's killing me. So give them the pain. If you don't give someone the pain, and this is just sales 101, right? So you're trying to sell them on 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 them adding you to their credit card, which is a big step for a lot of people, right? It's kind of like if you were watching a movie with Liam Neeson, and he's going to go save his daughter who's in a plane and she's strapped to a bomb. 15 minutes into the movie, he gets a call and they say, big mix up, Liam. Yeah, she is strapped to a bomb of confetti, right? And if this thing goes off, it's going to be nasty. It's going to probably go all the way all up her nose, and she's going to be sneezing all over the place, right? And for the next hour and 45 minutes, you're following Liam Neeson as he goes and tries to disarm this bomb. That doesn't really make for a compelling story, right? And why? Because it's lost kind of what failure looks like. It's lost what's at stake, right? So you have to tell them what's at stake. Step 4 is you're going to go ahead and have them call their credit card company, and you're going to give them a list of questions that they can ask the credit card company for their own satisfaction. So you can say, look, there's no obligation. Would you at least just call the credit card company, ask them how often that this is done, ask them if there's any risk to me, ask them, is there any chance that this can hurt my credit, right? And and let them see for themselves, right? And tell them, would you at least do that? And then you can decide. Step 5 is also another sales tactic is you want to have proof. You want to have authority that this is something that is a reputable strategy. This strategy actually, if you've seen it before, you know it's actually around quite a bit. And if you will just Google the authorized user strategy, comma, build credit, you're going to see that websites like Forbes talk about it, discover.com, creditcards.com. So it's really a reputable thing that's been going on for a long time. But it's not real commonly known unless you're in the personal finance or the credit space, right? Or unless you have bad credit and you've been searching for ways to get around it. It's not real commonly known, and there's a good chance that your friend or family member will not have heard about it. So you need to be prepared to, look up some of those things and even print them out or have those ready on your computer to show them the articles that say, look, this reputable site says that this is a good strategy for building credit at no risk. And here's the things to, watch out for. So those are your 5 steps. And now I'm going to bring on my mom, who I actually had come in earlier. I didn't think I did a great job on the intro for that video, so I wanted to do another intro for it. And just so you know, it's a little bit later in the day now. I actually had a shave since then, so I'm a little bit scruffier in the video, but she's gonna be right here with me, and let's start that interview.
Hey everyone, this is Chris Huntley with Credit Knox, and in this video, I'm going to see if in about 5 to 10 minutes I can convince my mom, who has no idea what I'm about to talk to her about, if she will add me as what's called an authorized user to one of her credit cards. Okay, so Mom, here's what we're going to do. There's a strategy that can help family members, close friends, where you add them as an authorized user to your credit card. What can happen is all you do is you call your credit card company and you ask them to send out a credit card. Now that will go to you. So you can have them go to you, make sure it doesn't go to me. So I never make a purchase, right? But you do give them like I think my last 4 of my social and my date of birth and my name and my address. And by adding me as an authorized user, what happens is they could add me or they could give me credit in my credit history. Like they'll report it to the 3 credit bureaus. So, right now, so if there was a way that you could help me financially without paying a dollar and there's no risk to you, is that something that you'd possibly do?
Possibly.
Have you ever heard of this, by the way?
Yes, I've done it.
You've done it for someone, or
yes.
For Mark?
No.
Oh, for a friend?
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
ex-husband.
Okay, so you already okay.
But I let him use the credit card.
Okay, so when I didn't know about this until like a year ago or something when I started getting into the credit space. So so I learned about it, and I added Mark to one of mine recently, and it really helped him because so my brother has terrible credit, or he had terrible credit recently, and one of the big components of credit is what's called your credit utilization, and that's like your total amount of debt you have outstanding, and it's your and it's like, let's say for your revolving credit, like your credit cards, like how much of your credit are you using compared to their limits. So his problem was he didn't have a lot of credit debt, maybe just like $1,000, but his limits was like 1,500. So he's using almost all of his credit. So he's a risky guy, right? So anyway, I had this credit card with $25,000 limit on it. So by adding him, now he's using maybe $1,000 out of $26,000. So now he's seen as way, he's seen as having his credit utilization has gone down to almost nothing, which is almost no risk. So he saw just on that one strategy, he saw his credit shoot up about 40 points. It was crazy on a couple of the credit bureau reports. So as you know, I have good credit. Okay.
Correct.
I'm okay. I'm walking the straight line. I pay out all my stuff, but as you don't know, but my mom knows, um, I made a big mistake before I learned a lot about credit. And one of the things that I did was I took a bunch of credit cards that I wasn't using anymore. So I use like one credit card now, right? So I have one for business. I use the Sparks business card. It gives me 2% back. And I use an Alaskan signature like Visa card. And I do that for the Alaskan flight miles, and they have a cool, they have other benefits. Okay, that part doesn't matter. What matters is because I wanted to put all my purchases on those for personal or business, and because I wasn't using the old ones, I canceled them.
Yes.
And you helped me. You should have known better. No, this isn't your fault. Okay, so this isn't your fault. Okay, so but so now I don't have a credit payment history issue. I don't have a credit utilization issue because I have tons of credit on the cards that I have. I have a credit age issue. So so now I do have some accounts that are long standing, right? But not for my revolving accounts. They're all closed. So I've got I've had a mortgage for several years. I've got car loans that I've paid off and everything. So I have good credit history, but the age of I feel like it could possibly really help with no risk to you. So is it something that you can and what I wanted to do, let me see if I can go on here. And what I would do, so if you are in your 20s, you're in your 30s, maybe in your 40s, and you've just never gotten credit, now you're going to go to try to get a car loan, maybe get an apartment, maybe try to get a mortgage, and you're finding out that, gosh, you've got to have credit. One of the easiest ways to establish credit when you're just starting out, or even if you have some bad credit history, like in the case of my brother, is to do this authorized user strategy. It's got to, we also like to call it a borrow a kidney strategy because you're doing it from a close friend, family member, because essentially, it's even though it's no risk to them, it's not something that you're just gonna ask anybody for. There are services that do this too. So I'll put a link in the notes below the video where if you don't have a close friend or a loving mother who would do this for you, then you can get someone like my brother did another one. And it was like a couple $100, and he got someone with a long history and another $25,000. So now he's got this gigantic, utilization. It also helps because he's got a lot of student loan debt. So it's not just your credit card, debt, but they look at all your outstanding loans. So this is really helping them. That one was just recently, so we'll see.
So I'm doing this for you or for Mark?
No, not for I don't. Mark doesn't need it. No, for me.
Good.
So I'm the golden child.
Yes.
But you could do it for Mark and there'd be no risk. Okay. So what I'd suggest, I'm not going to do this on the phone, but what I'd suggest is, let me see if I can turn this around. Okay, so what I would do if you're trying to convince a family member, a friend to borrow their kidney from them, okay, is look, this is not a new strategy. Like my mom said, she did this years ago with her ex-husband. If you look up, it's typically called the piggyback strategy or the authorized user strategy. Not everyone calls it the borrow a kidney strategy. That's my own thing. Okay, so if you do a Google search for build credit, or how to build credit, and then authorize user strategy, what you're going to find is you're going to find reputable companies like creditcards.com, Discover, Forbes, Credit Sesame, Debt.com. You're going to find articles from a lot of these places that talk about the strategy, and a lot of them talk about it favorably, as this is a great way for you to establish credit. So I think if your parents see that, hey, all these, you want to show them that this is a common thing if they haven't heard about it, that it's no big deal. It shows them the warnings. Okay, so let me go back to us here. I do want to talk about, how to get the most out of this strategy, and also about, what you could potentially have to watch out for. And this is what you want to do with a friend or family member. Okay, so how to get the most out of it is if you're someone like me who I don't have a problem with it. I have plenty of credit limit, right? It's $25,000 on one of my credit cards. So I don't have a problem with credit utilization. What I have a problem with is the credit age. So if you are new to credit, or yeah. So if you're new to credit or newer to credit and you just don't have a long credit history, then it would be really preferable for you to find someone who has a credit card that they've had for several years. They've had to have that account open for several years. Secondly, those payments, once you get added as an authorized user, their payment history is going to be reported as if it was part of your payment history to the credit bureaus. Okay, so you want to be sure that this is somebody who is responsible and that you ask them, have they been making their payments on time every time. I know my mom has a credit score over 800, and she is very good about this stuff. So she would be the perfect person for me to ask, which is why this isn't really a joke. Like, I want her to do this. Okay, and then okay, now what you do though is you just have your parents, um, or you have your family member, your brother, your sister, your friend, you have them call the credit card company and you have them ask these same questions. So you still want to have them ask these questions just for their own peace of mind. Saying, could this affect my credit? And what the credit card company will tell you is, well, yeah, sure. If they charge a bunch of stuff to it, then you're gonna have to pay that. So that's when you say, well, send the card to me. Right. You might want to ask for your own peace of mind. Can once they're added as an authorized user, can they call the credit card company and can they get a replacement card, sent to their own address and not to my address? Or if that happens, can I be alerted of that? So you want to add in, I think, you want to ask some of these questions, right? So you gonna do it for me, Mom?
Sure. Anything for you, son.
All right. She said yes. So there's nothing to it. So share this video with your friends who are new to credit, or with your friends who have bad credit. It's a very simple strategy. So I hope that you have enjoyed this video. Be sure that you hit subscribe and go over to our website, creditnox.com, and take the free credit action plan quiz, where you're going to find out the perfect credit action plan for you to sprint and boost your credit 50 to 100 points in 90 days. All right, thanks a lot. See you next time.